This is the BTB Gorilla Zone. Thank you for tuning in once again. I'm one of your hosts, BTB Grilla, and alongside with me, of course,
It's your boy BTB Swaggy. As always, hope everybody having a great year. Man, I hope 2024 you got some new goals planned for yourself.
For everybody who didn't catch the last episode, make sure you go tune into that, and you'll get caught up on our 2024 talk and everything as we started the year off. We are now on episode 3 of season 7 of the BTB Gorilla Zone, and as always, we're doing things differently and keeping things spiced up and for the culture and for the people, for real. The culture is going to change, and that's one of the main discussions of tonight is the culture. It's hip hop. What is hip hop? It's 2024. Everything has changed since its origin, its creation, and being as though Swaggy is a young content creator on the BTB team and involved in the hip hop and stuff. You know what I mean? I wanted to talk to you because it's more like talking to the youth and to the people today as far as what is hip hop to you? You know what I mean?
Hip hop, for me personally, hip hop is something man you should be able to feel through the soul. It should be a tool that most people use it as a tool for when life get a little too stressful and you want to get away and you kind of sitting by yourself thinking and you playing a track that kind of sort of relate to you, kind of like get your body moving, get your soul.
So you're talking about the music. You're talking about hip hop music.
Yeah.
So is hip hop to you in general? So if somebody says, "What is hip hop to you?" Would you relate hip hop to just music?
Would I relate hip hop to just music? Hip hop. The art itself can be used.
The culture.
Yeah, it can be used so many ways that you can't really. You could. Some people might really just associate it with music, but it's really, when you think about it, it's bigger than music.
For sure.
As they're making the track, and that's for any artist that's making a track. When they making a real deep track, they making it relatable to the people.
For sure.
That ain't just music. They want people to know, I feel your pain. I've been through the same shit that you was going through.
For
and
sure.
So I feel like hip hop as a big entity, yeah, part of it is music, but then part of it is like it's something that you could relate to, something that you could feel, make you feel like you ain't battling it by yourself out here.
So you feel like the culture, like hip hop culture, is like the vibe, like the spirit of the streets, from what it sounds. Hip hop was formed in the Bronx.
So that's what it started. That's where it started out at.
That's where it started. Hip hop started in the Bronx. Hip hop started in the Bronx. The thing about hip hop, I feel like, if you like before we started doing this, I had asked you one question about this because I didn't want to take away from the authenticity of the conversation. I asked you if you knew KRS-One was. Now, KRS-One, as far as in hip hop, the hip hop that a lot of the old heads and certain generations are used to, he's like the keystone, the professor, the first person to really break down and analyze and give people to hit the game of hip hop and bring it all together and formulate it into something that I guess the masses could, digest or whatever. You are too familiar with KRS-One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and that just goes to show, like, just the world that we in right now. You know what I mean? Not that, like I said, I don't feel like personally, I don't know if I was KRS-One, I might feel like that was a problem. Like, I know KRS-One probably wouldn't like that shit. Shout out to KRS-One, big love to Chris. But
like for me, as far as the music scene,
yeah, that's my next question. That's where I was going.
The music scene for me now versus when I was coming up as a kid is like way different. Like for me, coming up now, like my generation now is just this drill shit going on.
Do you think drill music is hip hop?
I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna say nah. And the same, I'm gonna say nah. I don't feel like it is, because when you looking at hip hop, like I said, most of these tracks in hip hop is telling a story. It's relating to you. It's dealing with some real deal street shit. Not that drill music don't. It's just drill music glorify more of the bullshit, and hip hop glorify more of a struggle. Nigga, we gonna get through it type of thing. So it's like, you damn near say drill music ain't really part of that whole thing, because that's a whole different genre in itself. These is niggas talking about spinning on each other, killing, and doing all type of shiesty licks, versus a whole another entity that's all about unity, pain, dealing with all type of shit. Like if I look at,
See, I understand that. I mean, like I said, I appreciate the whole point of view for real. I personally, I don't feel that way. I feel like hip hop. So before your time frame, before my time frame, I just happened to watch all them videos and shit. But hip hop used to be, I ain't gonna say it was corny, but it was like, it was all hype man and shit. Like the MCs and rappers and so they wasn't really rapping and hip hopping and stuff. They was, hey, let's get this shit popping. Yo, yeah, everybody over here who who could get the, you know what I mean, say some fly shit. Yeah, I got big gold chains in the Benz outside. You know what I mean? Like that was like the hip hop back then. And then that evolved into more of a battling type of thing. And then that evolved. So I feel like, although I don't feel like drill.
so me coming up, you had the 50 Cents, you had the Kanye West, you had the Young Jeezys.
That's my nigga. Shout out to Jeezy.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out all of them. So when you got that type of era music, that's what you said earlier. Hey, it's party music. Niggas is out there partying, having fun. Niggas ain't spinning the block. Niggas can sing along because they ain't got to worry about mentioning another nigga dead man names or you know what I'm saying? Another man's name.
I think the respect level of music was different. It was still getting disrespectful, but they definitely.
Oh yeah, because even 50 with the whole shot down line type of thing, but it wasn't as pushed as heavily as it is now. Now, even when I look on my feed, bro, it's nothing but drill. So I say, how is this shit hip hop? And when you put this shit on, can't nobody party to it.
Fact.
Can't nobody move their hips to it. And
Fact.
even the niggas that's moving their hips to it, they associated with the bullshit.
Well, now that I have, so in the beginning, like I told you, the 4 elements of hip hop, you know how they started or whatever. With that being said, now that you know that those are 4 elements of hip hop, which elements of hip hop do you think are still prevalent today? Which ones do you think people will be able to relate to out of that? Out of breakdancing, turntables, DJing, and hip hop music? And I honestly don't know the difference between turntables and DJing. I kind of feel like that's the same thing. But I'm sure I'm disrespecting somebody. So somebody just, just shoot
Man,
me
yeah, we don't mean that as no
just shoot me the
disrespect.
info and let me know.
I just think if people had to choose, if you had to get out there and people had to choose, I think people would just simply want the good old vibing music back. Like,
What about the rest of it though? That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the question. The question is what has survived? You know what I mean? When I asked you about what hip hop was, pretty much the only part that you really related to hip hop was the music. Mm-hmm. So past that, now that you know that those other 3 parts are out there, what has survived in your eyes? You know what I mean? From the youth, what does the youth still recognize out of those 4 things that I've said? I know it probably damn sure ain't breakdancing.
well, even now, they still breakdance. They just do it. They just do it different now. They not spinning on they. They just not spinning on their head, twirling in the air, but they still do it to
like
a point.
The popping and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you still recognize breakdancing? Then okay,
they still doing that. It's nothing has really, in my mind, like when nothing has really ever really changed, because depending on the song, every song, like for me growing up, for example, when Whip and Nene came out, Niggas made up that song.
That?
Yeah, just by listening to it, niggas made up that song, or they made up that dance, and just as depending on the vibe of the song, people would come out with a dance to it. So regardless if, because there's been plenty of instances where the artist will drop a song, and like middle school was the era where an artist would drop a song, and there would be no dance to it, and then we'll listen to it, and just the vibe from it. We like, nigga, we about to come up with a dance for this. This shit hard.
I can respect that. So breakdancing took on a different form. That makes sense. I honestly can appreciate that point of view from it because I feel like, myself included, that people feel like it disappeared. But listening to somebody now that, you know what I mean, once I say, hey, you know what I mean, what do you think about this, this, and this? And hearing like, okay, well, nah, that's still here, but that it just looks like this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's a gem right there. Now, what about DJing? We're going to put the DJ and the turntable system together right now for the sake of conversation because, yeah.
DJing, that I don't. Well, actually, I'll say this. As far as DJing now.
Is it prevalent? Do you hear a lot of it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when you go on TikToks, bro, it's, they making all type of beats. Everybody's making beats. That's why when you go on, even on all the TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, that's what I see. It'll pop up on my page, and it'll be a dude just recording himself, and he'll be making a beat from scratch. I don't see as much of that, but I know they still do it. I know. I mean, they still do it. I just don't see as much of it.
Right.
I just don't see as much of it.
Okay.
So if I had to say that, out of all four, maybe the DJ really fell back a few steps because I don't really see too much of that because it's mostly all just.
The crazy thing is that DJing was the strongest part of hip hop. When hip hop started, DJing was the strongest part. The MC, he would do like I said, roof is on fire a little bit, you know what I mean? Little bits and pieces. And the DJ, he's the one mixing these records, scratching and ... the whole time. They was having big DJ battles and this, that, and the other. All these DJs coming together. And then you kind of get like to that era of hip hop where it starts to change and you have more, I know far from Will Smith being like the first one, but being him and DJ Jazzy Jeff was such a dynamic duo, I'm going to use him for like the sake of conversation. But you got like the DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith combo where now the DJ is fire. He's scratching, mixing, doing all this shit with the record. And the artist is actually rapping a song now instead of just hyping people up. And then and telling stories and shit. And even like with Biggie and stuff, like when Biggie came into the era, motherfuckers was still switching over from the hype man shit. That was what made Biggie such a threat. Because Biggie's battling these hype MCs, and that's what they doing. They making little jokes and stuff trying to get people to move and sway with them, and Biggie coming at your throat. You know what I mean? Talking about how he gonna punish you and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shit, you know. And I feel like that's where, you know what I mean. That's it. Things look a little bit different, but it's nice to know where a younger generation sees the form of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Well, like for us, it didn't change. We just threw our own little piece on it. Yeah, we just do it differently. But they still do it. They just not. It's just like I said. It's just a different version of it, and they're not necessarily twisting on their heads and necessarily really breaking it down. But they still getting jiggy to it. They just do it differently.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to a point, I feel like breakdancing, the way that it was, went away more or less because people didn't think it was as cool. I feel like, you know, people pride getting in the way of a lot of shit. You know what I mean? People that can't do stuff, man, look at you down there spinning on that cardboard, this, that, and the other, ... whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if the dancing today, that's the only way that dancing can place that it can go to today. And then, like when you see Chris Brown, that nigga dance, that nigga still be doing shit that they did back in the day, sliding on his knees and all sorts of shit like that. Like that's where the work comes in. I feel like when hip hop gets mixing the stuff that they got today with the work ethic and the shit that they was doing, nigga spinning on their head and shit like that, nigga, yeah. You know what I mean? That's worth paying that money for a show. That's why these motherfuckers can't sell out shows. Niggas start spinning on your motherfucking head.
Yeah, and then even to the dancers that still do it, shout out to y'all too for the people that still dancing, because I know for me personally, that's one of the most overlooked things, because that wasn't really talked about. Like
dancers and background singers, yeah, a lot of the background.
Really I ain't trying to be no dancer. I ain't trying to be no background singer. That never really popped up. So it's like that's a very underrated thing. And when you dancing, you try and perfect your craft so much. I know I spoke to at least one dancer in my life, and he was like, if not anything, you perfecting your craft so much that you ain't really worrying about what other people saying.
And they putting in mad work.
It's
so much work.
And most of the times they in groups.
It's so much work.
And he was like, most of the times
put in so much work.
Yeah, and he was like, most of the times they in groups. So most of the time they practicing, they working on their choreography, they working on, because they got a battle, they got a show.
For sure.
They got multiple things.
I had a young boy in Philly, and that's what he did. I mean, and he young boy. And I mean, that's what I mean by like when I seen his routine and his schedule and how often and stuff he was working and trying to critique things and stuff. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers dancing on the stage put in more work than the motherfuckers holding the microphone. You know what I mean? Like,
real talk.
So not much love to the dancers and stuff.
Yeah, they put it in the work, bro. They put it in the work.
But that's what it is, man. I just really wanted to have the base discussion of the hip hop thing because, like I said, what is hip hop now? Like, what is anything now? And I feel like having that discussion is one of those things where it takes away from a lot of the hate and a lot of the misunderstanding. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people that liked music and feel like they fell in love with hip-hop and that hip-hop is dead or this, that, and the other. I feel like there's a lack of communication of discussions that don't happen about hip-hop. Because now, yeah, it does feel like hip-hop's dead. Why? Because nobody is talking about hip-hop. Everybody's talking about fashion, the fucked up shit that the high-power people doing behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? They talking about the rappers and the drill artists that we was just talking about and the things that they doing out here that they really, you know what I mean, probably don't need to be doing in the essence of once they especially hit this industry and obtain some sort of financial stability, you know what I mean, and start moving different. But nobody talks about, like I said, the hip-hop part of it, the actual part of hip-hop culture. Where's the music coming from? Where's the, you know what I mean? Where is this temperature check? You know what I'm saying? Of the new competition and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like for you, what do you think the hip hop took a left turn?
I don't think it took a left.
You don't think it took a left?
I don't think it took a left. I feel like it's blacks, it's whites, it's everybody now. You know what I mean? There's a lot more people now. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop sounds different now. It feels different now. It is different now. The sound of the music is different now. The shit that we going through is different now. You feel me? And hell, that's what it is. There's a lot less. The sound of the music and stuff. We didn't take a left in hip hop. We took a left in the world. You know what I mean? There's a lot less grandmoms out there and shit. There's a lot, you know what I mean? There's a lot less of that shit that made us feel like we was on to something. You know what I mean? Like now you got a lot of black people, a lot of motherfuckers with money and shit. But as a people, we more separated than we ever been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there ain't no, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the realest shit in the world. I was saying that when we was riding through the parking lot. And I was like, yeah, man, look, you seen, bro, he just seen me and gave me the head up. We in an area where it's predominantly white, predominantly people with money and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So when we come through and another brother see us, he like, yeah, that's what's up. But then you got that one brother that's like, these niggas.
These niggas, no good.
Right. And you gonna meet more niggas that's like, damn, these niggas. Why these niggas gotta be here too?
Man, y'all just wake up mad, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but the man in the parking lot when he seen us, he was like, or when he seen you, he was like, yeah, but, hey, bro.
Yeah, like just
And that's how I'm like, yo, that's how I knew, like, oh yeah, he got that old school soul. Cause nowadays, the youth, we don't really register with that. Cause even when you try it, they don't register with that.
Nah. I mean, it's weird, right? Because I come from a place in Philly where not only did you not wave at people, I didn't even know what waving at a motherfucker was until I moved to Maryland. You know what I mean? And that's real shit. Like, that shit still feels foreign to my arm. You know what I'm saying?
Waving.
Yeah. But then I move out the ghetto and shit eventually from a place where, you pretty much just keeping your head straight forward and high enough to let a nigga know that you got your head held up and not down. You know what I'm saying? And even if when you got your head down, your attitude is up and you still really moving on the swivel, but you ain't acknowledging really no fucking body at all. To a place where now they're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
hey, how you doing?
I've noticed.
And you're like, what the fuck?
I've noticed coming from, especially like down south. Like for me in North Carolina, when I was like, that's just different for me. When I was coming up in North Carolina, it was more of that was normal. Like that was the thing. You walk past somebody you don't know, hey, good morning.
Okay.
When I went up north for one time for like 1 week, bro. It was like 1 week. It was in New York. I was in the Bronx for a business trip.
Yeah.
I'm walking down the little strip because I want to get a little chopped cheese for breakfast. And me and my boy walking, and I said good morning to a young nigga like me, walking past.
Right.
And he turned around. He was like, yo, my nigga, don't say good morning to me, my nigga. You don't even know me, bro. I leave you right here. I was like, yo, you tripping, my nigga. All I said was good morning. And literally when my boy, we walked into the store and he had to tell me like, yo, bro, I know where you from. I know they do that everywhere where you from, bro. But up here, don't do that.
Yeah.
He literally told me, don't do that.
It's crazy.
And I was like, word, like,
it's crazy.
He taking it as disrespect or something? He was like, yeah, some of them do. And some of them, like, they really don't do that.
Yeah, because it's
and
just different.
Yeah, that's how I noticed.
Different.
And they walk past each other like they don't exist. Like,
yeah,
literally.
Exactly.
They walk past each other like it don't exist.
Exactly.
And nobody says nothing to nobody. And I'm like, bro, I'm coming from a place where even if you don't know him, bro, when you walk past him, you say good morning.
But that's what I mean by the shit with the music, too, though, right? Like, all right, so we at a place now in hip-hop where most of these motherfuckers now that's making music that's like well known or whatever, they all say the same thing. Yeah, I don't really fuck with them. I don't really fuck with nobody in the industry. Everybody fake. God damn, like how can nobody be fucking with nobody, everybody fake? If that's the case, then obviously we need to do something fucking different. You feel what I'm saying? Like that don't even make no sense.
It kills me because the same people saying that, they be the same ones that they be talking about later in life. They'll go to them for a feature. And
most definitely.
When they don't get that feature, it'll reactivate whatever beef that he had in the first
place. Or
place.
niggas will not be even fucking with each other and still make music together because of the label situation or whatever the deal is. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, I just want the music to get to a place where, like I said, where we as a people ain't numb. So the music don't feel numb. You know what I mean? It's like, we the people, we don't fucking feel shit. We really don't trust nobody. Everybody out for self. And that's what the music feel like. You know what I mean? For the most part. And I feel like that's why everybody going to different genres. Most of the genres that fucking out there like pop and all that shit that done sprung off from hip hop and blended with, like a country rock and hip hop vibe and R&B vibe. It's like, they doing the same shit that we was doing in hip hop. You know what I mean? Miley Cyrus out there talking about when she was young and all this party and doing all this. That's the same stuff that we was talking about in hip hop and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like we've gotten away from expressing and like you said, telling stories and shit. You know what I mean? So
it's
I
like
guess that'd be the left.
For the people that is branching off in different genres, I think they just tired of how the rap scene. Cause it's like. Even now, they saying, as you know, man, Lil Baby ain't really. He had to cancel some shows, but the people saying even Lil Baby shit sound the same. And after a while, I think it's just I don't obviously I don't know Lil Baby enough to be saying for sure, but from what I've looked at, it seemed like people are starting to notice that the same shit he dropped from The Voice of Heroes with the collab album with Dirk, basically his sound ain't changed to get to a point. So basically, some people are starting to notice that. Basically, everybody's starting to notice that. I ain't even gonna say some. So there's a large group that just feel like Lil Baby shit sound the same, and people now they feel like the rap scene itself is just stuck in a weird era or just stuck in a weird phase because ain't nothing really hitting on nothing as much as it should, they feel like.
I just think that these motherfuckers ain't experiencing nothing. I mean, the reason why I don't listen to drill music is because shit, but he also talked about fucking designer clothing that niggas had never seen. And a lot of fucking women and different shit like that niggas wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, it gave you a lot more to grab onto than just that killing shit.
And it was so much to Pop Smoke. Like, my nigga, they said basically, bro, at one point they was saying, bro, that's the son that 50 wanted.
Man,
that's what they were saying. Nigga, that's the son that 50 wanted. So, and he gave us that vibe. He gave attitude. People that young G-Unit nigga vibe.
Yeah, the thing, that vibe is, I'm going to tell you what that vibe is. That vibe is, you believe it. You believe what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything he said, you just felt that shit. You
literally,
know what I mean?
bro.
Like, that nigga ain't had to say nothing because a lot of his shit was ad-libs, and you still was like, yeah, that's right.
Still
you know
partying,
what I mean?
bro. Still partying.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he wasn't mentioning no deads. He wasn't.
He was a good man.
You feel me? He wasn't meant. You could party to the music. You could party to the music. And when he first came out, niggas was like, I remember when he first came out, everybody was like, yo, who this nigga with this deep voice? Then when we started seeing him, it's like, man, this nigga look like 50. Then when he came out with Many Men, it's like, oh yeah, nigga, yeah, this is it right here. He the one. He the one right there. And then we seen him with 50, and it's like, yeah, bro, that's.
And he just wasn't afraid to do his thing. You gotta understand, like, when he was dancing and doing his thing and shit like that, that was what hip hop needed, because you didn't have people doing it the way that he was doing it, keeping that strong. There was nothing that was feminine about this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a man out here making a good representation of a young man coming from the streets and growing into everything else. You feel me? And that's where I feel like he was like, man, shit, that nigga, he was going to kill some shit. Like, really, like, as far as in this game, nigga. I wish they'd have kept that vibe. When they said they, no disrespect, but I feel like people definitely on the New York scene try to keep that vibe alive, but
I mean, yeah, it's
different.
From looking at it, yeah, because they all using deep voices, and it's like
it's different.
It's when people talking about drill, bro. It's like we not like when I say about drill, bro. I'm not trying to shit on drill, and I'm not trying to make nobody feel like drill not the wave, my nigga.
I got you listening to a lot of drill.
You see what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
I listen to drill myself, so it's like if they could just switch it up, my nigga, that's all. If they could just switch it up, bro.
I ain't gonna lie. I sound like a hater when I come in the room. As soon as I hear that shit, I'm like, oh yeah, nigga. Man, nigga, that shit, all them niggas is Pop Smoke to me.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean? Like, and then
I don't shit on drill. It's like, my nigga, do y'all thing, bro. I know, you feel me? I used to do the same shit y'all do, bro. I know how it is, bro. Get your bag, my nigga. But at the same time, I switch it up if you could. Even shout out my boy BMG Upper Class in Brooklyn. He's trying to tell them, my nigga, it's not. Just switch it up, my nigga. Just switch up that way, my nigga. You can get on the radio.
Right.
Now you getting plays on the radio, my
Right.
nigga. You can expand out of New York. The whole New York know this whole drill scene popping off, so they know these niggas.
Right.
But BMG is trying to get these niggas to understand, my nigga. You can go past New York. Fuck New York. Yes, everybody know you're in New York. That's where all your numbers coming from. But nigga, you could be way more beneficial out there.
Definitely.
My nigga, there's a drill rapper named C Blue. He did the same thing, man. He got up out of went to Texas. Got up out of there and went to Texas.
Most definitely.
So when his bag came, he was rapping his drill shit for a minute, but at some point in time, my nigga, he stopped and invested his money into other places. And now he's sitting on a bag every single month, and from time to time he'll drop a drill track, but he ain't gotta be out there and do that shit no more. He out living in Texas comfortably.
Right.
And that's what BMG trying to get them niggas to understand, bro. Like, niggas ain't trying to shit on drill as a whole, because that's how some of y'all niggas eat, man. Get y'all a plate. At the same time,
big facts.
At least dress your plate up, nice, my nigga. You eating the same meal every day. People gonna get tired of that shit. At least dress it up a little different or something, my nigga, so that way you can get on the radio. You can get more plays over there. That's all we saying.
For sure. I feel like, I'm sure there's a lot of different pressures when you in that lane, because in today's world, like, we was watching the Charleston White interview, and he was talking about the algorithm and how it pushes back and stuff. So it's like, a lot of these, I know when I was in the streets, even, you know what I mean, I was a smart guy. I wasn't in the streets because I didn't have intelligence. I was in the streets because that was what I was working with what I had to work with. And a lot of the situations are the same. And they're smart enough to know that niggas is going to buy this. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people get locked in and stuck underneath of that pressure of, you know, if I do something different, how's the fans going to react that, you know what I mean, are engaging into this negative, you know what I mean, the negative side of what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So...
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely take that into factor. Maybe if they feel like they do something different, they feel like it might not get the response that it would if they drop a regular track talking about the same shit. Or like you said, they fans might not fuck with them because of it, so they might have to revert back to the joke. And to a degree, I can see it, because just like NLE Chopper said on in the interview, he said when he which is true. I can't sit here and say it's not. When he said he was gonna stop talking about all that drill and shoot him up, bang bang, and he went to a different route, it didn't pick up much as traction. Then did when he went back to that shit, and then everybody came out and was like, "Oh, he said he was gonna stop rapping about that shit though." Well, he did, but we ain't pay attention to it.
Right. Though.
So we dropped him off.
That's a fact though.
So he had to do that shit to get right back into the limelight. Because when he dropped it off, we was like, "All right, fuck it. Who else talking like that?" And so to a degree, it's like, yeah, I can agree. Yeah, when that jump just popped in my mind. Yeah, when NLE Chopper stopped talking about drill shit for a while, they stopped tuning in. So it's like how, and I think that's where the frustration comes from the artists too, because it's like, my nigga, y'all want us to stop this drill shit, but when we switch it up, y'all not tuning in. No, so we have to go back to this shit.
That's a big fact. I feel like that plays a major part in it. And it's like, you not out here in this game right now. It's like, it's hard to not be relevant and not be causing some type of havoc out here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just the realness of it. It's like, not only at one point in time it was like talking about it was like, oh shit, he just said, and then it was like, okay, that's cool. What are you gonna do? And then doing it was like, oh shit, man, he just caught a body and he rapped about it. And now it's like, oh man, shit, he only got one body, man, shit. Nigga, we need to listen to a nigga that at least got 4-5 bodies. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's definitely because even they take you back to when there was a scrawny white rapper named Slim Jesus. When he did a Say Cheese interview or something like that, and they was talking like, man, you saying all this tough shit, what's that about? He was like, oh no, I don't really do that. I just say it in the track.
Right.
Man, they dropped them off so quick.
Man, look.
They dropped them off so quick. So that's where I knew the term was like, oh, well, it seemed like shit, if you ain't really doing it, they ain't about to fuck with you, because he be rapping. He was really rapping about that shit.
Well, and I feel like that's part, like I said, that's the gift and the curse about it, because it's like I said, you get locked into that. Like, if somebody is listening to you for that type of music, do they really want to hear the other side of you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that's where it's like, damn, you know what I mean? That shit does suck. And it's been, you know, like you said with NLE, that shit, unfortunately, that shit gets proven a lot. You know what I mean? They even treating Kodak different right now. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on now, like, y'all, you know what I mean? The streets stood up for Kodak like it was nobody business, and now, you know, whether it be industry shit, real shit, whatever the case is, it's like they just boom, they push you off to the side and say you crazy and everything else.
That type of
You know what I'm saying?
So that's why I give them leeway. I don't try to put drill down as a whole, because I take all that into factor. It's like, on one side, yeah, I want y'all niggas to do better, but on the other side, the fans will ask for some different shit, and they get some different shit, and they won't mess with it.
Yeah,
and so it'll frustrate the artist, and then it's probably been plenty of artists that just be in their room or be in the studio just mad crying, because they like, man, these niggas want me to switch up this.
Rich is like, man, that was the pressure they put on him to put out the type of music that they expected to hear from him was what took a great artist away. You feel me? Like, he was a great artist, and the music that he could have developed, and you know what I mean, into it, people would have just let him be an artist. But it's like, you know what I'm saying?
And they don't nowadays. They don't let artists develop. Like, they don't let, and I'll say we, because I'll put myself in. We don't let artists develop, because if you drop something hot, the next one got to be hot. Say if somebody, and we've been around plenty of, and we've been through plenty of instances where artists come out, drop some heat, the first track, next track he drops some buns, and then we don't even fuck with them no more. So we don't even give them time to develop, because it's like, that first one with some heat. Now this one got to be better than that one. Though. And if it's any less than that one, my nigga, we gonna turn this shit off and we ain't tuning you in no more. Don't care what you putting out next.
Nah, big facts. And a lot of artists that are different, it seemed like don't make it. Like Nipsey Hussle, like he kind of rapped like with a West Coast song style. You know what I mean? Like, it was a different style format, but. You know what I mean? He had to put in the work to get it out there. He went against the grain and stuff. And then, like I said, that type of artist is taken. And then you don't see too many different styles like that allowed into the game. You know what I mean? If it don't fit that pattern of music that's going on like that, you don't really feel too many strong different styles like that come into the game heavy.
Yeah.
You know, except for like at a quick burst, you know.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to R&B and pop and stuff like that, it's like really like if it's against any genre's grain, I feel like it don't last long. Like even with that Nico, with the chick that did that fucking Milky Way joint.
Oh yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
It's like, that shit was really big forever.
That joint had, you
heard it all everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm from outer space. I got, you know what I mean? You heard it everywhere. And
now where's that?
And that's what I mean. Like, it was different. You know what I'm saying? When you heard it, it was like, damn, this is different. But it was so catchy. It hit you. It got you. Boom. But it's like, damn, like, you know what I mean? What happened after that? You know what I'm saying?
Because that's like, what?
Right. You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I think that's why some people say it's in a weird phase, because it's that, I'm sure it's that small percentage of people that's thinking the same way. Well, it's like, well, yeah, we want something different, but every time they give us something different, we don't fuck with it, so they got to go right back to what we noticed them for.
Yeah.
So then you got a small percentage of fans that can't really, they can't tune into what could or can't be, because majority of the fans, they want the regular bullshit, and that small percentage, they want the change, because it's still gonna be a small percentage of people that fuck with it.
But now here's a real question, right? Do you think that there's a possibility that it's not that the people don't fuck with the different music and stuff, but that the powers that be don't let the different music really get out in front of the people the same way that the other music does, and the more or less the music that has that sound that they want, and that narrative that they want to push out? Because I feel like we don't have these algorithms. Everybody keeps saying, yeah, this with the algorithms, you can work the algorithms like this and that and the other. So if you have that in place and you can say that, then there has to be a reason above that has these algorithms that direct a certain kind of traffic and certain kind of image.
I would say,
you know what I'm saying?
The powers to be probably have a couple hands in it, but I wouldn't say they are 100% the reason, because even back in 2017 or 2018, and then some people might remember this, at one point they tried to make Dirk go pop music. They tried to push Dirk into the pop music lane, and at one point Dirk tried it. When they pushed that out to us and to the masses, bro, that was hitting everybody's algorithm. It got nothing but negative reviews, and everybody was like, okay, this is the moment where Dirk starts to fall off. And when they got that big of a negative reaction, the industry pulled that shit back so fast and dumped him right back into the regular category. It was almost like it didn't happen.
Do you think that it really happened like that, or do you think they just rebranded it? Because I was down, right? I wasn't home at the time, so all we had was music, and I've noticed that he released a lot of music that was more singing like, and that he released a whole album. What was like the love joint, you know what I mean, like a street love street. You know what I'm saying? Like he released a lot of albums that you could consider crossover albums. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit.
I think,
and they were big.
Let me see, because I'm thinking those albums, he started before that. Because even when he started singing, he was still singing about real pain shit. It was like kind of like an NBA,
for
NBA
sure,
Youngboy style.
For sure.
2017, 2018, it was on some whole other different shit. It wasn't just singing about pain in streets. It was singing about some crazy pop regular. No, it's completely. It wasn't his lane.
Right.
When you look at him, you can tell he wasn't comfortable in it. When you look at him in the music videos, he wasn't comfortable doing it.
Right.
And so once they got that reaction, they pulled that back, and the next track he came out, and it was almost like he never veered off.
Right.
And they stuck with that ever since.
So that goes more towards, like I said, that negative algorithm and derivative. You know what I'm saying? So
because they've tried to push that out, but I remember it was all over. People was like, man, Dirk falling off. It was mad videos about it, and everybody was like, yep, this is where the industry tried to turn niggas pop music. Now he about to fall off, and literally his next track, he went straight back to the bullshit. Niggas was like, yeah, don't ever try to do that shit again, Dirk. Like, don't ever try to switch that up like that.
I think the crazy thing is I guarantee he'd have been fine. He'd have been on the Drake side of things.
Probably. I know that was the biggest what if.
Yeah, I guarantee though they'd have put him right in line with the Drake side of things. Now, you know, it's like with all this shit that's going on and stuff, as far as in Cat Williams and Orlando Brown and this Illuminati business and stuff like that, I'm not one to much feed into that stuff. But since I happen to see these clips and all this stuff, I seen they were saying the same thing about DC Young Fly, right? And his situation. saying that it was some Illuminati business, all this stuff, right? And then I happened to see they were like, watch how the future comes and the stuff that happens for him that wouldn't normally happen for somebody. And now he's the host of the Family Squares joint or whatever, the Celebrity Squares joint.
Well, they also said his baby mama just died.
Yeah, that's what I'm
away.
saying. That what they said. That's when I watched the clip. This is you know what I mean. This is all stuff that I watched on the joint. I watched the clip of people putting this conspiracy theory stuff together. So I just figured I would put it out there. So what do you think about the coincidences of all of these people and what they have to say about the Illuminati, as far as into not like whether or not you think the stuff that is really happening is happening, but do you feel like with everybody saying all this Illuminati stuff and this, that, and the other, that it is at least a real thing, or what is your position on that?
Like, as far as the Illuminati being a real thing, I've never really, honest opinion, I've never really tuned into it that much, only because it's like there's been so many conspiracy theories, so many stories, and it's like I've never really tuned into it. I've always been one of them that I sit back and I look at what's all being said and what's all the information that's coming out, and even then, like, yeah, I'm just one of those people that sit back and I look at this information and I look at the information, like, even with the whole Cat Williams interview, sitting there watching him conduct that interview, he's confirmed a lot of stories that I've heard over and over and over, but I don't know, bro. That's just hard. That's a real hard one to answer.
I see. We went all the way around the corner on that one. I was waiting to find out where we was going to come out around this bend. So with that said, it's just like with anything else. Like, we hear stories of the Loch Ness Monster and old Nessie being down Lake Loch Ness and ... And eventually, somewhere in our mind, like me personally, I hear about the Loch Ness Monster and I'm like, yep, probably not. You know what I mean? There's that and the other. So the same thing with this, you know what I mean? I ain't, that's why I didn't ask you, what you think about this, that, and the other, because, whatever. But you think it's real or not?
There could always be a possibility, but that one I just don't know. Because there's so many stories and conspiracy theories, and some of the stories that's told about them, it's like, man, multiple people saying the same thing. It could be true. All these motherfuckers ain't lying about this one thing. But at the same time, it's like,
Okay, well, let's move on to another one. We'll do a couple quick real and nots. So, real and not. Aliens. Simple one. Nah, aliens not real. Nah. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So, real or not, the Earth is flat.
Earth is flat? Nah, Earth ain't flat.
Nah, Earth ain't flat. Okay. Real or not, reptiles, the reptilian thing, that reptilian theory.
The reptilian theory? I never heard that. What's that?
You never heard the reptilian theory?
Nah.
Alright, well, it's a wormhole I ain't got time to go down right now. Okay. Real or not that we've been to the moon?
Real or not that we've been to the moon? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think we've been to the moon.
Okay. I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was asking you to expect. Okay.
I don't think we've been to the moon.
All right. I can dig that. Well, that was a quick section of real and not. I have to come up with some other ones. I like that. That was fun. Yeah, that nigga would not answer that Illuminati question, though.
That's because it's like, man, that's one of them things, man. If you gonna touch that one, shit, you better know how to,
Hey, look, I can respect it. I don't know nothing.
I don't know nothing about nothing. I just know, man, look, I got a lot of stories and conspiracy theories, but I ain't gonna sit here and,
That was fun.
About nothing.
Okay, so let's move on real quick. I love technology. I love video games. I love the virtual reality thing. I love the thought of um, certain parts of AI and where it can go and all of that stuff. We do a lot of different things with AI over here at BTB. And what is your thoughts on AI as far as in like the business side of things? Like, how do you think it's like a benefit, or do you think it's going to the hinder things and you know make people kind of lazy and take away from the human factor?
Well, being that you say that, I actually think it's gonna do both of them things. Eventually, AI is gonna start getting more involved with human like activity. That eventually, the motherfuckers they not even gonna need human workers.
That's a fact.
So in the essence of people are definitely going to get lazy. Some by choice, some by because a machine is doing their job for them, so they ain't really got nothing to do because damn near the machine can do it for them 10 times over and 10 times faster, and the company can save way more money just by having that machine right there. And he ain't got to pay that machine. He just got to keep it up. He just got to keep up with it.
Okay. So pause. So where do we draw the line between technology being helpful and you know and it crossing the line and running too much of our lives and shit?
That answer, I don't think for them it's gonna be a line to cross.
Except for them, I like that answer. I like that answer. That was good.
By this point, there ain't no line for them to cross. They finna throw AI into every. Matter of fact, I remember when I was still in school around my senior year in 2020. People was using AI for their chat GPT searching up exams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could y'all right? Y'all got a whole thing writing like an essay for you,
for sure,
just for them to fail the next day, because the teacher will look at it and be like, well, this has nothing to do with the subject of what I said. But it was like, that's when it was getting popular, because everybody was like, yo, bro, just use AI. I'm like, for what? And he was like, yo, bro, you can use this for your math problems, for reading comprehension, for science. I'm like, yo, this...
See, times have changed.
Yeah.
Boy.
So that's where I would say that's where it really crossed the line when it started playing into my school year, because it was like, bro, now y'all just going off of what this computer's saying. Now, if you really graduate, you got that graduation diploma off of this chat GPT, my nigga. You ain't really use your brain. Like, you ain't really use it. There's no authenticity in your studying if you got a computer doing it for you.
I understand that.
So I would say it crossed the line when it hit my school year. Hit my senior year in 2020 when everybody started using it. I felt like that's where it crossed the line at, because it took away from.
It's already too late then. There ain't no going back then. If that was crossing the line, ain't no going back from there, because we already we next level with it now. Yeah,
because that's why I'm like it took away from all the learning and studying, and now we becoming the new adults. So now it's like, bro, y'all we growing up, and now y'all just gotta figure out.
Yeah, that's scary. I think the world gonna end up looking like when in Back to the Future when fly went to the wrong place.
That technology is crazy though. You seen that one video where they had I don't even know if these people was fake or not. Either they dressed them up like robots at some NFL game. It was somewhere all over. I don't even think you seen it.
I don't know.
I think it was like a San Diego Chargers game, and they had they dressed these people up like robots to the max, and they sat them out in the crowd, and everybody was freaking out. They was like, oh, they're replacing us. But
man, you shouldn't have said that, man, because now you done made me think of a whole new conversation piece that I want to go into now, man. You should not have opened up that shit.
Nah, because when you say technology, I also forgot to mention the whole Cybertruck. Now they got they throwing the Cybertruck on the road now because they testing them out.
Man, look, I pre-ordered one of them motherfuckers like fucking 3-4 years ago, man. I don't even look. Hey, Mr. Elon Musk, sir, if you could please, you know what I mean? Yeah. Cybertruck me down, please, sir. Look, I'm trying to tell you, I don't think I've ever said nothing bad about you.
No, not at all.
So yeah, but no. So the next thing I wanted to talk about after you said that, that Orlando Brown interview, that shit. First off, for everybody listening, if you don't know who Orlando Brown is, um, a young man. He
Former actor.
right. I think he might, you know what I mean. He just might still be doing some acting and
because
stuff. 'Cause I heard he got a show or something.
Up.
Right. So he's an actor, and he started off very young in this business. He's had a very extensive career in this entertainment business. He's done like 49 shows, mixed between shows, movies, and episodes, something like that.
And some of those biggest shows or movies have been something like Major Pain, That's So Raven, and I can't name the other one, but those are the two major ones I can think of.
Yeah, no, those
and
are
I
the
know
biggest ones, right?
most of y'all know about that Major Pain. I know most of y'all know about that.
He was in there
Major Pain.
stepping.
Yeah, I know y'all know most about that.
You know, the little
Major
engine
Pain.
that could story, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah. So he done been through a lot of stuff in this industry, and as you look, if you happen to look him up and look through his interviews, you see that like a little bit of a constant decline, whether or not it be mental health wise or substance abuse or whatever you want to call it or whatever it may actually be. It looks like a little bit of both. He also has said some things about this industry and this, that, and the other. Now, the section I wanted to go into didn't particularly lead to that, but being as though that was what made me think about it, because he had said things about that I don't find necessarily relevant or true to be about people changing places and facelifts and stuff. I mean, do I put it past the world and it to be happening in the world? Definitely not. For the circumstances he said, I don't necessarily think so. But anyway, it has been proven that you can clone human beings. So, do you think that, like, what is your standpoint on that in this world? Like,
on cloning?
Yeah, on cloning in general of a human being. And then we'll travel on from there. It's cloning human beings, good or bad?
As far as cloning human beings, I would say probably a bad thing.
Why?
Cause it's a clone. Like for me, if I'm gonna get cloned,
and you know what I mean, and I know what of a country specifically for sure. So it's like past that is like eventually cloning is gonna be a thing. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like other things where people give their consent and ... And it might start off as body parts or whatever, but you know, not for you personally, but if somebody gives their consent to have a clone, what? You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, if somebody give consent to get a clone of themselves, then it's like, bro, you in your mind, you already made up. You gonna get a clone, so go and get your. I wouldn't knock nobody for going to get a clone.
Do you think it would mess anything up in the world?
It probably would. I wouldn't imagine a clone imitating somebody could be 100% that person. It's bound to fuck up somewhere. It's bound to do something.
But I think people would know, like, that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, this is clone such and such and such, whatever. You know what I mean?
Like, it would announce, like, I'm clone such and such and such.
I think he would be recognized as Bob. You know what I mean? Say the dude's name is fucking Jim, and his clone, it looks just like him or whatever, but his clone name ain't Jim, it's Bob.
I'm not gonna lie. It might be some people that's like, bro,
and Bob is Bob. He just looks like Jim. And
it might be some people that like, bro, I ain't paying all that money to get this motherfucking clone just for him to give me away and be like, look, I'm a clone. I'm just going to tell you, I'm a clone. I think the whole thing would probably for them is like, look, I'm getting cloned, so that way maybe a nigga want to be in two places at the same time or something.
I'm thinking on like a more practical side, like
more practical side. It'll probably be
a rich person is like, hey, I got the money. I want to go live my life, do whatever I want to do. I want a clone that has my chemical makeup and my thought processes. No, he's not thinking what I'm thinking, this, that, and the other, but he thinks like me, he's built like me, and he can run my companies and do all this shit, and I don't have to pay somebody else to do it. I spend this money to have another me that can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll stamp him on the forehead or something and let him know. Like,
it's a crazy conversation to have.
That's clone Jim over there, and Jim right over there the whole time, and maybe he talking to himself. Like, yo, Jim, you got them documents ready, right? And he like, yeah, Jim. Yep, got them right here on the computer. He's like, yeah.
Until Clone Jim get tired and get
yeah, start stabbing him up. Like, yo, you seen Jim? Like, I am Jim. Shit, what you talking about? I am Jim. I'm Jim now. Shit. I don't know where he at. Shit, he on break.
Nah,
but
it's crazy to have a conversation like this. And 20 years ago, somebody would have been like, what the fuck type of sci-fi show is this or whatever? And that's how it would go for so many things that are happening in today's world. You know what I'm saying? And now in today's world, this is like a conversation where, no, this shit could really, really happen like that. Like, you know what I mean? World War III was fucking something that, it's like, well, nigga, ain't never gonna be a World War III. You know what I mean? And now it's like, oh, yeah, no, World War III? Yeah, that shit could happen tomorrow.
Any moment.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's why Einstein said, I couldn't quote him exactly, but he was basically saying, he don't know what kind of weapons World War III will be fought with, but he know the next World War would probably be sticks and stones. So he was basically saying that
we don't fuck everything up.
Fuck everything out and go right back to square one.
Right.
And it was documented. I don't even know how I ended up finding this information somewhere on YouTube, but it was documented that people in the 1800s predicted that by 2010 there would be they called them horseless carriages. So they thinking it was basically cars, flying cars and shit. But they didn't call them flying cars back then. They said horseless carriages.
Right.
So they like in the 1800s, people predicted that by 2010 we'll probably have horseless carriages flying all over the place.
Right.
And now you look, we still got cars and shit.
Right.
It lets you know that they was on to something. They said at one point it was horses. It's gonna be horseless carriages.
Right.
Got cars now.
And the crazy thing is like this, right? With the way the world is going, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a world war and everything gets set back to a point where it's like most people are fucked up and there's and rebels and this, that, and the other, and then you have this elite fucking powerful people that survive with all this money and technology and shit still in the means, and the new society that comes is super elite and the rest, and it's not about countries and this, that, and the other. Is you know what I mean? It's just that there's the super elite and there's not. And that's how I feel like it's going to end up being.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's going to be like the haves and the haves nots. It's pretty much going to be like a split. Either the elite and the less fortunate, pretty much.
Yeah, I think, and for everybody, if you happen to feel one way or another about race, I hope you are young enough to live to that day that shit does not matter. And that you need everybody just the same and you look at them just the same, Because
at the end of the day, man, we all bleed the same. We all go in the ground. We all turn to dust when it's over with.
Right, exactly.
So, ain't nobody really above nobody in the sense of.
Nah.
We all bleed the same. We all do the same. We all get the same emotions. All types.
So, man, that was a little left turn, but I feel like it's good to keep things interesting and also, like I said, to talk about things that consistently aren't being talked about and are pushed to the side. Like, it doesn't exist when it's a very real thing in this world and a lot of things going on. By the time that people start talking about it, it's already too late. You know what I mean? So, anyway, this was a fun episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed the lesson on hip-hop and the conversation and everything, and that it leads you to look into hip-hop culture more. And if you're an artist or an entertainer, I hope that that takes you to the point where it inspires you some way to, try and do different things and explore different things. This has been another episode of the BTB Grilla Zone.
This has been your boy BTB Swaggy,
and
man.
I am BTB Grilla. And we about to do.
Yeah, we'll catch y'all in the next one, man.
Well, my elder went out and everything. We gone. It's over. Bye.